Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining for this webinar. My name is Neha, and I would like to introduce you to all our panelists for today. I would request all the panelists to please switch on their cameras. Okay, so firstly, let me introduce you to our speaker for the day. We have Pavan Gumaste, who is a
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining for this webinar.
Yes, I'm so sorry for the interruption. Yes, so we have Pavan today as speaker of this webinar. He is a certified solutions architect and a developer associate. He is also the creator of Whizlabs Hands-on Labs platform, which is now being used by thousands of cloud enthusiasts like you all to enhance their practical skills. Over to you, Pavan.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Neha. So let me share my screen and we will start the webinar. Okay, I hope everyone able to see. Can you, Sneha, can you just confirm if you're able to see my screen? Okay. So let's begin with our webinar. So today's topic is building infrastructure using AWS CloudFormation. Okay. So myself, Pavan, and so I'm a solutions architect here at Whizlabs, and we have created the hands-on labs platform where students can come and practice cloud concepts on real-time environment. So let's go through the today's agenda. So first we will try to understand what exactly is a cloud infrastructure, and here we will try to understand what are the different types of cloud infrastructures available and what are the different service models available. And then we will go to a CloudFormation. We will try to understand the overview of CloudFormation, what is a CloudFormation and how it is related to cloud infrastructure, what exactly the CloudFormation does, all those things. And then we will go through a brief introduction of hands-on labs platform, which Whizlabs is giving. So here I'm going to show you the features, all the features which are available with the hands-on lab platforms of Whizlabs. And then we will go through the live hands-on labs walkthrough. Here we will execute one or two labs. And for this, I'll be giving access to around 30 people in the of you. So if you have a Whizlabs account, you will be provided with a forum by Sneha, and you have to enter your mail ID. So first 30 people will get access to our hands-on labs, where they can practice the hands-on labs along with me in the webinar itself. Okay, so after that we will have a Q&A section, and then we will have some quiz, and we are going to announce some rewards. So before starting, I want, if you guys have not created a Whizlabs.com account, please do create it. You can create it with the Google login. So it will hardly take some 10-15 seconds. And then Sneha will provide you with a forum where you will be able to enter your mail ID. So all those first 30 users who will be in the form will get the hands-on lab access right away. So I'll just give 1 minute to you guys so that you guys can create the Whizlabs.com account. So it is very simple. Let me just show you how do you do it. You just go to Whizlabs.com, and here, if you have not logged in, it will show let me just show. So it will show a login button here. So once you click on the login button, there is a Google login available, and you can just click on it. So if you just click on this Google login, you will be able to log in. So once you log in, the mail ID you have to provide in the forum. So yeah, Sneha, so if you can provide the forum, I think we have given some 10-15 seconds now. Let's wait for another 30 seconds, and then we can provide the forum.
Okay, Pavan.
All right. So I'm just seeing the chat. So if everybody is, so your mail ID, you don't have to provide in this chat. The mail ID should be provided in the forum, which Sneha will provide. So Sneha, you can put the forum?
Yes, I have shared the link in the chat box.
Okay, so somebody is asking if I'm a premium member, still I need access to a lab. So if you are a premium member or already and if you have an annual subscription, then you will have access to the webinar lab, which we are going to take, and I'm going to show how to access it. Okay, somebody is saying provided link not working.
Just a minute.
So let me just open this and see how it works. So I'm just going to this forum.
Can you access this one?
Okay, it's showing me some error. Sneha?
I have sent another link. Can you all access that one?
Okay, let me try.
Okay, yes, this second link is working.
Okay, fine. So let me just try it out here. Okay, so here you have to sign in and you have to provide the mail ID here, name and the mail ID, so that our admin will provide you the access needed. All right. So Sneha, confirm me once you have the number of users, then we can just start the webinar. Okay, can you give me the link again? So let me post it here. Okay, this is the link which you have to use. And also, there is a Q&A section in the Zoom, which you can use to ask questions. Let's say when I'm giving the webinar, if you have a question, we have our panelist Mayank, Basant, David, and Senthil, who are going to answer your questions. If you have any questions on, let's say, the topic AWS CloudFormation or Whizlabs Hands-on Labs platform or any other Whizlabs related queries, that will be answered through Q&A. So make use of that. Okay. So let's begin the webinar. I hope, Sneha, did we get all the users?
Yes, we have received enough email IDs.
Okay, fine. So all those users, all the first 30 users who have entered their mail ID will get the access to our hands-on lab platform. Please, I'll show you later how do you access the course and how we'll start. Let's understand the theory first, and then we will move on to the lab part, which is a theory part. I'll try to keep it short, and the labs part we will take it a little bit longer to understand each and everything inside the CloudFormation. Okay, so let's try to understand what exactly is a cloud infrastructure. So cloud infrastructure refers to a hardware and software component that supports the delivery of a cloud-based service. So here, when we are talking about the cloud infrastructure, we have to understand how it was before and how it is now. So previously, when we have what exactly was our infrastructure? We used to have our server room, and we used to have a server team and operations team, which used to handle all the infrastructure related things. And as a developer, you have to write the code and deploy it in the server provided by the server team. And server team used to manage all the patches, OS, and everything. So now, with respect to cloud infrastructure, all those things are made as a service. So where you can access these things using the API. So this is very important when it comes to cloud infrastructure, because we are modularizing each and everything with respect to infrastructure and giving it as a service. So it is a virtual infrastructure. You don't have to go to a server room or a data center or anything like that. Everything is at your hand. So it's a virtual infrastructure and it can be accessed via internet. And the cloud infrastructure is a platform where public cloud services that enables customers to build wide range of applications. So these kind of the applications can be a public application like a, let's say, Netflix or a Facebook or any other education websites like Whizlabs.com or any of your personal websites. Like if you want to create one blog or you want to create one online store and things like that, those are all called the public service applications. Those can be created using the cloud infrastructure. So yeah, so that is a brief introduction on cloud infrastructure. So what is the main difference when it comes to traditional on-premise data centers and cloud infrastructure? Main is the system architecture and service delivery model. So when it comes to system architecture, you have a wide variety of architectures available on the cloud infrastructure, which you can choose from. And as far as the service delivery model, it is based on the consumption. Mainly, you are paying for what you are using. So there is no worry about like what I should buy, what kind of servers I should buy. Is it enough? Is it not enough? There is no problem with that. All those things will be handled by cloud providers. Typical cloud infrastructure, as I mentioned, is off-premise, and also it is accessed by internet, as I said before. The hardware resources are virtualized and abstracted. So here, these 2 points, virtualized and abstracted, are very important when it comes to cloud infrastructure. So what is a virtualization and what is abstraction? So virtualization is something where there is you have some physical parts or hardware parts which you are virtualizing into a software. So that is called a virtualization. So here, let's say, for example, you need let's say a processor or a hard disk, and these kind of things are a physical thing. So, but they are virtualized into a containers or services which you can use through a cloud infrastructure. And then it comes to abstraction. So abstraction is mainly the abstraction, which is very similar to virtualization, but here with respect to virtual abstraction, you don't have to worry about the backend details. So the backend details includes the things like what kind of hard disk you are using, whether it is a WD or a Seagate, we don't have to worry about it. What kind of processor you're using? Is it an Intel one? Is it an AMD one? Those kind of details you don't have to worry when you are choosing a cloud infrastructure. All those things will be taken care by the cloud providers, and you have to focus on the application which you are developing. And yeah, as it is mentioned here, so it is very much useful for resource scaling and sharing, provisioning these resources for users located at different geographic locations. So cloud vendors, mainly AWS, Azure, and other people like GCP. Nowadays, you have a large number of cloud vendors. They are selling these computing functionalities as a service. So they are selling these things as a service to end users. So end users can be anyone. It can be a retail user like me and you. It can be a company, and it can be an enterprise. And we do not own this infrastructure. We are just using it whenever we want. It's on-demand infrastructure. So this is a typical cloud infrastructure. So here, as you can see, cloud infrastructure can be categorized into 2 to 3 different formats and the types. So here, when it comes to infrastructure, we usually say the main components of the infrastructure: the compute, network, and the block storage. So what is a compute? Compute is where we are providing the CPUs. So network is where we are providing the routers. The block storage is where we are storing the data. So these 3 becomes important things when it comes to infrastructure, and all these things are available as part of cloud infrastructure. So what else is there in the cloud infrastructure? There is a platform. You have object storage, you have a IAM, which is a security identity, and then there's a runtime services, then there is a queue, then there is a database. So all these things are available as a platforms. And then we have the applications. So what all kinds of applications we have in the cloud infrastructure? That is like a monitoring, which is a CloudWatch, and other related things, and other providers, content, collaboration, communication, and finance. So all these kinds of services are available in cloud infrastructure. It is up to us as a user to decide what exactly is needed for our application and develop the application based on that. So as you can see at the bottom, we have phones, laptops, servers, desktops, and tablets. These are usually called the end users. So end users are usually access this cloud infrastructure through internet or a network. So there are 2 ways by which cloud infrastructure can be accessed. So let's understand what is a cloud infrastructure components. So main components, as I explained here, are network, hardware, storage. So networking basically includes the physical wiring, switches, and other things, routers and things like that. So hardware is a service, processing units, which I explained, the processors and power supplies and memories. So imagine these things had to be done previously before the cloud infrastructure. Manually, the company needed to do these things, and that used to cost a lot. So the companies like EMC Square and VMware used to make these things, and they used to provide the service for these things. So they were the major shareholders in the previous old infrastructures, where they had a lot of say in choosing the hardware, choosing the network capabilities. So network capabilities, when it comes to network capabilities, it was either a Cisco or a Juniper Networks and things like that. And when it comes to storage, again, as I said, EMC Square used to provide all the hard disks and storage related things up to terabytes and petabytes of memories. So next is a virtualization. So this is the most important part in the cloud infrastructure. The first three part which you're saying, the network, hardware, and the storage, all these things are virtualized. All these things you don't have to do any, you don't have to do it on your own. Everything is virtualized now using this virtualization technology. So each and every hardware resource is converted into a virtual service, and those virtual service can be used by the end users for a price. So this is like a renting things on the cloud. So what are the characteristics when it comes to a cloud infrastructure? So these are the important characteristics when it comes to cloud infrastructure, as well as if you have a really, if you want to build a really good application. So that is a highly scalable. So highly scalable, as the name suggests, in case of crunch times, in case of peak usage, peak traffic, the infrastructure should be good enough to scale it based on the need. Let's say, if for example you have a sale on a Flipkart or Amazon, we should be able to scale it up based on the number of traffic we are getting. So second point is secure. So there is a multiple layers of security available in the cloud infrastructure. So there is a when it comes to our data centers, there is a limited number of security services which you can do. But when it comes to a cloud infrastructure, since it is managed by a separate team from the cloud vendors themselves, so it is more secure, and it is up to us to use how secure, what all services in the security which we can use to make our application more secure. So next is highly available. So highly available is a very important thing which become more important in the cloud infrastructure, because there is a nowadays with the globalization and everything, most of our users are distributed around the world. So how do you make our application available to everyone at all the time, right? So it is very important for an application to become a highly available. So because of the regions and availability zones provided by the cloud vendors, so you will be able to create a servers in, let's say, Mumbai or a US East one, or Europe, or South Asia, like a Singapore or somewhere. So this helps us to deploy the application in all those servers and maintain the traffic from those particular regions in those servers. So it is very important part of the cloud infrastructure. So next is high performance. So high performance is something related to, again, scalability, and the performance basically tells you how quickly you are able to compute the request. So a request response cycle, how quickly it is happening. So that performance is also can be increased by choosing the higher level instances available in the cloud infrastructure. So next one is as a service delivery model charged on the service consumption basis. So this fifth point is what enabled all startup companies to create all their new applications. So the service delivery model, where it says you pay for whatever you use. The best example for this is an EC2 or a Lambda, where you are paying only, let's say you are using for 2 hours, you are paying only for those 2 hours. And you don't have to worry about the backend server, what happened to it. You just terminate it. Since it's a virtual server, you can terminate it and you don't have to worry. In the previous generations, if you had bought a server, whether you were using it or not, you have to keep it, you have to pay the money, and it was costing a lot. So that was a hindrance for the startups. So now with this service consumption basis, charges based on service consumption, we are able to see that there is a explosion in the startup companies which are coming up. So next is managed by the cloud vendor. So most of the things in the cloud infrastructure are managed by the cloud vendors. So we don't have to worry too much about what exactly is happening behind. We can just concentrate on what we are going to develop and what we are going to provide the service to our own end users. So there is an end user of cloud infrastructure, that is us, who are creating the application. And then there are end users who are using our applications. Let's say, for example, Whizlabs.com. Our end users are the students who access our courses and hands-on labs platform. So those people become our end users who are using the application which we developed on the cloud infrastructure. Oh, okay. So I think let me just take a break and understand, like, are you guys able to understand the things? Like, do you have any questions in this? You can ask me here. So I hope I'm not going too fast. So let me just see. Okay, so somebody is asking, where can I access the practice test labs? So these things I will tell you once I go to the labs part. So right now I'm telling you the theory part to understand the cloud formation. I'm just giving you a brief introduction of theory part. So we will go through that. Okay, fine. Okay, so somebody is saying it's a little bit fast. So let me make it a little bit slower. Okay, fine. Cool. So yeah. So let's understand the cloud infrastructure. So different types of cloud infrastructure which we have are a public cloud, a private cloud, and a hybrid cloud. So these are the three different types of cloud infrastructure which anyone can create. A public cloud is something where the firewall depends on you as a vendor. You can decide who can access this. If it is a public one, any public blogs or platforms which are available for everyone, that is called a public cloud. So where you will come into a cloud platform and you're going to create one application and you are going to deploy it in a server and you are going to make it public. So that is a public cloud. And here we are going to be charged based on the pay-as-you-go model. So next is a private cloud. So private cloud is something where a company wants to use a cloud infrastructure for their own purpose, and they don't want all those applications or infrastructure to be available online. So then they can use something called a private cloud, where they are going to create the private VPC, and that can be used for running their own applications in the cloud infrastructure. So these things will not be open to the public, and these things can be only used by the companies. And then there is a hybrid cloud, which is getting more hits nowadays, because hybrid cloud is something where you will be able to put something on public and put something on private, depending on how sensitive your workload is. If in your application certain services are security sensitive, then you put it in the private cloud, and then if those things which you want to make public, you can make them public. So there are three different types of infrastructures which you can use based on your needs. So there are three models when it comes to infrastructure. Right now, what we studied is the types of infrastructure. So these are the three different types of infrastructure which we understood. Now we are going to understand what are the models available in the cloud infrastructure. So I think most of you might have heard about these terms: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and a software as a service. So let's try to understand these things, and then we decide like how exactly they fit into cloud infrastructure. Okay, so when it comes to infrastructure as a service, here we are getting the cloud computing infrastructure like services, servers, networks, and other operating system as a virtualized APIs which you can use. So here you will have the complete control of your infrastructure. So here you are deciding which instance you want to use, which kind of RDS you want to use. All those things are decided by you. So the example of these things, as I provided, AWS, Azure, GCP, there are many more cloud providers available where you can just create the infrastructure and entire thing is under your control. So next is platform as a service. So platform as a service it's like a software, but here you are giving a platform where you can create new softwares. So usually platform as a service allows a business to design and create the application that are built inside the parts with a special software components. So special software components meaning they will have the plugins, ready-made plugins which are available, and you can use them to create your own applications. So examples for this is Cloud App Engine, SAP Cloud, AWS Lambda, Heroku, Salesforce Lightning. These are some of the examples which we can provide as a platform. The simple example, just to make you guys relate to it, it's a platform we can call Android as a platform. So you can use Android as a platform and you can build your own app on top of it. So Android is a platform. Just like that, here, these are the platforms which allow you to develop your own application. So next is a software as a service. Here, software as a service is an end product. Here we will get an application which is managed by the third-party vendors, and it is directly used by the users. So software as a service is, end of the day, most of the time you will be accessing these things through a browser. These are like a Slack or a Dropbox or a Zendesk. So where, let's take an example of Dropbox. So you do not have any control on how it needs to be configured, how it is stored, or you want to add any new features. All those things are not available. The Dropbox does one thing: it stores the data, and that is what you are allowed to do. And for that, you are paying some price. So these are the different models by which you can make money out of cloud infrastructure. Okay, so here this diagram clearly tells us what kind of control we have on different cloud infrastructures. So here you can see this is the legacy systems, the previously how it was, the on-premises. These things still exist. It's not like everything is moved into cloud infrastructure. It might move soon. It'll always take time because there are a lot of security related things and a lot of government legislatures which we need to bypass. So all those things will take time. So many things are still on premises, they are available. So next I can see the infrastructure as a service, where you have control on the application which you are going to create, the data you are going to put, the runtime usage, the middleware, and the OS. So all these things you as a vendor have control on, but you don't have control on the virtualization, the servers, the storage, and the networking. So what are these? These are the abstraction layer which were virtualized and given to you as a service by cloud vendor. So next is platform as a service. So what happens in the platform? So in the platform, the applications and data is yours, and all other things are maintained by the cloud vendor and the people who created the platform. So here you can see, let's say there is a SAP Cloud or a Google App Engine or AWS Lambda. So here you can create your application and put your data, but you can't change things inside it. You can use with the APIs, whatever the endpoints they have given, you can use it to create something new. So then is a software as a service. Here everything is designed for you, everything is ready. You are just an end user who is consuming the data which is provided inside the software as a service applications. Let's say Dropbox or Zendesk. So you are an end user who are using it. Another example which I can give is our video courses and practice tests which we are giving. So those are all on cloud. As an end users, you are using it, right? So let's see. So these in these, the important thing which we are going to learn today is infrastructure as a service. So this is very important for the CloudFormation. So that is why we are going to understand what exactly this is. So it is a most flexible cloud computing model where you have control on everything. You can automate the deployment of storage, networking, services, and other things. These are all again based on consumption. The cost is based on the consumption. The client, as I said, has a complete control on their infrastructure. So when I say complete, up to this level, the below levels are abstractions which are provided by the cloud vendors. So next is resources can be purchased as needed. So let's say you have built up the infrastructure, then you understood that you need some more resources. You have built up, let's say you have created a instance with let's say T3 large, and then you realize that you want to increase that instance because you have more traffic. So then you can do that as needed. And these things are, as I said, this point number 6 is related to point number 5, as it is highly scalable. So now that we have clear understanding of cloud infrastructure, so if you have any doubts still here on cloud infrastructure, you can ask me so that I'll try to understand. If you have any doubts, I can clear them. So I'm just looking into Q&A. So Ashwini Sharma, what type of major services comes under PaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service? So I think I have mentioned this below. So here are the examples which I have given. Next, Indrajit Benegal is asking, can a private cloud model also include an offshore virtualized data center? which is located offsite at the location of a company offering the services. Okay, let me understand this, which is located offsite. Okay, so basically what you're trying to say is I have a offshore data center, and can I link it to cloud and use these services? Yes, it is possible. So one of the examples we can use is the transit gateway. So you can just read in detail about the transit gateway and understand how it works. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, let's now try to understand what is a CloudFormation. Okay, so in the CloudFormation, let's go with the AWS meaning. So AWS provided the meaning. This is based on the documentation provided by AWS. CloudFormation gives you an easy way to model a collection of related AWS third-party resources and provision them quickly and consistently, manage them throughout their life cycle. So here, the key point which you have to take from this sentence is infrastructure as a code. So whatever we are trying to do it here, all those things can be done through infrastructure as a code. So this is the most important part of CloudFormation. So whatever we learned till now for the cloud infrastructure, that can be done through a code. So now suddenly the developer becomes more important, and all the server team has to understand as a code. You have to understand how are we provisioning these things. You don't have to go and manually do a switching or connecting things, and all those things are gone and everything is a code now. This makes our life a little bit easy. I would say more easy, because a lot of the things are not in our point. Okay, so a lot of the things we don't have to worry, and we can just focus on what we want to do. So let's next is a CloudFormation template. So CloudFormation template is a typical code in which you are going to describe all the resources you need for your infrastructure. So let's say I have a company XYZ, and you want to develop a certain application, and you are thinking that I need a database, I need a server, and I need to connect them, and then I need to open up certain ports like a HTTPS and RDP ports, and then I need to do request response cycle. These all things can be written as a code inside the CloudFormation and create them as a stack. So what exactly a stack does? A stack will create your infrastructure. You can update your infrastructure, and you can delete your infrastructure as a single unit. So let's say you have one stack in which you have defined, I want this kind of database, I want this kind of infrastructure and everything. Then later period of time, just by updating the code, you will be able to update your entire infrastructure. You don't have to worry about buying it separately. So that will be updated. Even when it comes to, let's say, you have worked on a project and that is coming to an end of its life cycle, you can just delete the stack, and the entire infrastructure will be deleted. So you can manage and provision the stacks across multiple AWS accounts and multiple AWS regions. So this is one of the things, as I explained before. We can take advantage of cloud vendors' data centers, which are available throughout the world, and deploy these applications in different servers and maintain a sync to make sure that all the users across the globe are getting the highly available application. So I have a question for you guys now. So now that you understood what is a cloud infrastructure and what is a CloudFormation, is CloudFormation infrastructure as a code, or a platform as a code, and a software or a software as a service? Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or a software as a service? You guys can think about this. So I can see some people are answering already. So you guys can think about it, like think and understand what exactly I'm asking here. So whether it is an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or a software as a service. Think about it. So we will answer this once we go through our labs. Okay, so let's get into our labs. So before that, let me introduce you to our hands-on labs platform. So using this, we are going to run 1 or 2 labs of a CloudFormation. So let me go through this. So when it comes to hands-on lab experience, we need to understand what all the problems which users face. So these are important things which we need to understand. So let's say you want to have a hands-on experience, you want to learn the cloud concepts, you want to validate your practical skills, and you want to understand how much it is going to cost. Okay, so these all things are taken care by the hands-on labs platform given by Whizlabs. Okay, so yeah, so here we are going to create a hassle-free cloud environment, and it's going to cost you nothing, and it is completely risk-free, and it gives you a best practical experience. So this is most important when you are going to get the job. And also there is an option to validate your skills here. So let me just show you how it works. So I hope you guys are able to follow me till here. So let me go to platform. So you guys can log into whizlabs.com. So let me just show whizlabs.com. So when we are doing the lab, I'll show you how do you access the course. Right now, I'm going to show you only the platform, how it looks. Okay, so I'm just going into my courses. Okay, so here I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to AWS Solutions Architect Associate. So let it open. Think it will open in 1 second. Okay, cool. So here you can see in our platform, we have practice tests, we have online courses, and along with that, we have hands-on labs. So this hands-on labs is a platform which is, as of now, given for free when you are purchasing a practice test or an online course. So let it load. Let me quickly check if there are any questions here. Okay, fine. So let it load. Okay, so meanwhile, you guys can tell me in chat if you have already used the CloudFormation. If not, what kind of AWS services you have used. You can just mention the name of the service which you have used a lot. It can be EC2, it can be S3. You can just mention, okay, this is what we are using mostly, so that I'll try to understand what all things you guys have been doing in the cloud. So I see EC2, S3, code pipeline, EC2. Okay, so many people are playing EC2, EKS. Okay, cool. So I have not seen, okay, EC2, Route 53, IAM, CloudWatch. Okay, somebody has mentioned CloudFormation. Good. Okay, so I'm seeing many people are using different services provided by AWS. So today we will try to understand what CloudFormation does. So I can still see RDS, Redis. Okay, that's good. Okay, cool. So let me just go to a labs and show you how it works. Okay, so this is the platform which we have. So if I just click on, let's say, so this is the AWS Solutions Architect course. This is an exam-oriented course specifically designed for the Solutions Architect Associate exam. So if you go to the labs, these all labs are specifically designed for this particular exam, and they can be used as a general cloud understanding also. These labs can be used for general cloud understanding as well as for the certification. So I just clicked on the start. I went here. As you can see, this is the hands-on lab platform where we are providing all the details which are required for a user to understand and learn. So here you can see so each and every lab will have this kind of template where we are providing a lab details, introduction, and then we are providing the architecture diagram, the task details, and the lab steps. So as you can see, there's a complete detailed steps which is given for each and every lab. And these steps are specifically designed by understanding the concept which a student needs to learn. So here, what we are trying to say, this lab will walk you through the steps to launch and configure the virtual machine inside the Amazon cloud. So here, all these detailed steps are designed keeping in mind that the student has to learn this thing. So he will practice using the Amazon machine images and launch a EC2 instances and use the key pairs to SSH authentication to log into your instance. So you are going to publish a page. So this is basically, we are trying to show that you can publish a page inside a EC2 virtual server. Okay, so this is one of the examples. As you can see, we are also providing the introduction where we are trying to explain which services which you are going to use in the this particular lab. So it will be easier for you if you're new or if you already learned about it. So it will be easier to just refresh or learn what kind of services are used in the lab. And then we are providing the case study diagram. So this case study diagram tells you what exactly this lab is doing. So each and every lab will have this case study diagram where you will be able to understand it, like it's a pictorial representation of what we are going to do. So then we have task details. Each and every task has its own things. Let's say we are launching a lab environment, then we are going to create an EC2 instance. These are the main tasks which we are going to do, and each and every task is explained in detail below with screenshots. As you can see, there are different things which we have to do, and all these things are provided here. So you can see that we are providing the commands also which you need to run, and we are providing the complete set. It is an end-to-end details which are needed to complete this lab, and user will be able to understand everything clearly. So, and one more thing which I want to mention here is that as you know that AWS do change their UI. You guys also might have noticed they change their UI many times, and they also update a lot of things, the way they represent these services. We from our Whizlabs team, we try to keep this updated as much as possible. So whenever there is a change, we immediately make these changes so that the end users who are using these labs will always see the latest screenshots from the AWS console. So yeah, so that's how our platform is. And once you're completed, we have one more important feature, which is a validation feature. So this validation feature allows you to validate your lab. So whatever you have completed above, so it will validate and say, yes, you have completed the lab. So you can see that we have given 30 minutes for this lab. Usually we do some thorough understanding and give more than enough time for lab to be completed. So let me just click on the start lab. So as you can see in the behind, it is creating a cloud environment and giving the details to you. So here, if I just click on open console, so you have not given your mail ID or a credit card or anything like that. You got AWS console details here. So I am just giving a username which is provided here, and then I'm giving the password here. All right. So now you can see that I am able to log into AWS console without providing any of my personal details, and you're not worried about the cost or anything like that. So here you have the access, as you can see. So now the lab tells you about EC2. So you have EC2 access here. So you are given a limited access to this account, so where you can go and perform the lab. So let's see. Here, as a part of this lab, we are going to learn how to create the EC2 instance. So I'm not going to do that. What we are going to do is a CloudFormation lab. So I'm just showing you how it looks. So once you are here, you can follow the steps and you can complete the lab. So then once you complete the lab, you come and click on validate. So once you click on validate, you will be able to see that the lab steps which you have completed will be validated. Right now it says failed because I have not done anything inside this. So if you follow the steps and everything and create an EC2 instance and publish a page, then this will be a success. So that is how a typical hands-on lab platform works, and all these features are given. So let me just end this lab. And so once I end this lab, all the infrastructure which is created for will be destroyed, and you don't have to worry about deleting all those resources which you have created. That will be taken care by Whizlabs. Okay. So now that you understand the the hands-on labs platform. So some points which I wanted to mention here is these labs work based on the credit points. These credit points you can see. So each and every one will be, whenever you purchase a practice test or online course, you will be provided with the points, and you can use these points you can use these points to start a lab, and you can use it every time you start a lab. You will be deducted with the 10 points. So right now I have many courses, so it is showing 7,000 points. Usually when you purchase a practice test or online course, you will get around 500 points. Okay, so yeah, so this is about our hands-on lab platform. So let's, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, otherwise we can move to our practical session. So somebody said, I missed it, where to see the credentials to start the lab, please? Okay, I'll show this again when we are doing the lab. When we are doing the practical of CloudFormation, I'll show. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me check Q&A. If there is anything. Okay. Okay. So somebody is asking, is credit point has an expiry date? So it depends on what kind of purchases you have made. If you have made an annual subscription, it will be available for annual. If you have made a product subscription, it will be available for the duration of that product. So it depends on that. Okay, so let me go back to Sneha and check if people who have provided their mail ID, did they get the access? So Sneha, yes. Can you please confirm?
Yes, Pavan, we have given access to 50 people. We are decided for 30, but okay, we have given to 50 people.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, fine. So so if you guys have access, so I'll show you how to go to how to access our the labs which we are going to do. So just go to whizlabs.com. Okay, then go to my courses. So click on my course. So you have to log in first. I am already logged in. So you have to log in first. Cool. So once you're logged in, you just type webinar here. So here you can see webinar infrastructure, building infrastructure using AWS CloudFormation. So you guys can click on it. So that can be accessed in multiple ways. Maybe some people might be able to see here itself. I have a large number of courses, so I'm not able to see. I'm just searching. So some people who have only some courses, they'll be able to see directly in the dashboard itself. They can click on start there. Okay, so this is where we are going to start our lab, just like our AWS Solutions Architect Associate.
Pavan, just wanted to interrupt you for a minute.
Yes.
Since there are 50 people, it will take a lot of time to announce all their names. So you all can go to my courses, and if you can see the start button, that means you have been selected for the access. If you see buy now option, that means we will give you access later point of time. But whoever has filled up the form, they all will get the access. Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. So since there are the 50 people who have been given access, you guys can check. So if you got the access, if you come to this course from searching here, you should be able to see 50 points here. So if you're already an existing member, maybe you'll be able to see more points. But if you are given if you're a new user, and this is the first time you're coming to the Whizlabs platform and purchase this is the first access you have, then you should have a 50 points. Otherwise, you will have more number of points depending on how many courses you have purchased. Okay. So, okay, fine. So people are saying I can see the start button, maybe due to a premium access. Yes, if you have a premium access, you will have a start button. I didn't catch what you said about the lab access. Okay, so the lab access I'm going to show again here with this CloudFormation template. Okay, so if you already have this access, you can click on start button of introduction to Amazon CloudFormation. Just click on this. So you will be able to see introduction to CloudFormation. So this is a typical usage of CloudFormation template where we are going to learn how do we use this CloudFormation service. So remember, I have asked you a question in the PPT. So what was my question? Is AWS CloudFormation infrastructure as a code, platform as a code, platform as a service, or a software as a service? Just remember this. Okay. So we can answer that and everybody can answer it. So let's understand. So this lab walks you through the CloudFormation features. In this lab, we will demonstrate the use of CloudFormation stack through creating a simple lab server. So if you're a developer, it is a very simple thing. A LAMP server is something where we are using the Linux, Apache, MySQL, and a front end like a PHP, a Perl, or something like that. So basically, it's a simple web server we are going to create inside an EC2 instance. So remember that we are not going to use the RDS service of the AWS here. We are going to create everything inside the EC2 instance. Even if it is a MySQL server, we are going to create it inside the EC2 instance. You can just click on this wiki to learn more about the LAMP server. It is a very simple server. It is just an acronym for using these services. So OS, deployment software, a database, and a front end. Okay, so that's how it works. So next is CloudFormation. So in this CloudFormation provided by the AWS, where you're going to write infrastructure as a code. So now, when you write an infrastructure as a code, there are two ways to write the CloudFormation. One is through a JSON, another is through a YAML code. Okay, infrastructure enables you to create the different type of stacks. These things I have already explained, so you guys can go through these things. So now let's try to understand a CloudFormation template. So the CloudFormation template, as I explained before. So what was the CloudFormation template? Describes your desired resources and their dependencies so you can launch and configure them together as a stack. So what exactly does the stack contain? So stack contains a template, a version, a description, a metadata, a parameter, mappings, conditions, resources, and output. So we will try to understand one by one what they are when we are going through an example template. Okay, so only, as you can see, the resources is only the required field. All other things are optional fields. Okay, so let's start this lab. If everybody is ready, we can just start this lab. I'm going to click on Start Lab. So it will take maybe around 10 to 15 seconds for you guys to get the credentials. So as you can see, a virtual cloud environment is created for you. So I hope everybody got the access for this. So once you get the access, just click on Open Console. So as you can see, we have 30 minutes to complete this lab. Okay, so we should be able to understand and complete all these things within the 30 minutes. It's a self-learning lab. So we will try to meet the target. So let's see. So now I have clicked on Open Console. It opened a page, and here you don't change this account. This is the account provided to you. It will automatically come when you click on Open Console. So now I'm going to put a username here. I'm going to put a password here, and I'm going to click on Sign in. Okay. So I hope everybody is able to log in. So once you logged in, you go to S3. So yes, we are learning about the CloudFormation. So we are actually storing the template for this CloudFormation in the S3. So we are going to see how the template looks, and we are trying to understand the parameters inside it. Okay. So once I click on this, as you can see, I have this LAMP template JSON. So I'm just going to click on this, and you can see that there's an object URL. You can just copy this and keep it in your notepad. So let me just open this, and I'm just going to keep it here. Okay, so this is the URL which we are going to use when we are launching a CloudFormation stack. Okay, so just keep it here, and I have already downloaded it. If you guys want, you can just open this and download this as a JSON, and you can see this and go through with me. So let me open this. So here in this CloudFormation template, we have the version and we have the description. So description is typical description, what exactly you're doing inside this cloud using this CloudFormation template. We have the parameters. So parameters are, in programming terms, we can call them as a variables, where it is holding certain parameters. It's like a key value pair. These values will be used below the conditions in order to launch the EC2 instances. So we have a key name. Key name is basically a key pair which is used to SSH into a EC2 instance. So when we are creating an EC2 instance, this is the key pair which we are going to use. So this key pair is already created for you from us, and it will be available inside your account. So next is a DB name. This is the MySQL DB name. So remember, as I told, we are not creating a typical AWS RDS. We are creating a MySQL inside the EC2 instance itself. So for that, we are giving the name of the database, and then we are giving the DB username, password, DB root password, and everything. So then we have the instance type. We are saying you create a T2 micro instance, and then we are providing the location, so SSH. So basically it is telling you what all things should be allowed from this. Okay, so after the parameters, we have mappings. In the mappings, we are saying what kind of T2 micro instance it should be, what kind of architecture it should have, and also what is the type of EMI it is using. So if you just search for this online, you will be able to see what kind of AMI it is. I'm just going to copy and paste it here. And here you can see I'm using the Amazon Linux AMI. Okay, this is a free Linux AMI provided by the AWS, so I'm using that. So next is the resources. As I mentioned, this is the required part. This is not optional. Other things are optional. So this is the important part, which is going to tell you what you are going to create. So I'm saying I'm going to create an EC2 instance, and I'm going to use a CloudFormation init feature where I'm going to install all these softwares inside my Linux machine. So Amazon Linux machine, it's to use that AMI and provision me an instance, and inside that instance, I am writing the infrastructure as a code. My infrastructure needs a MySQL server and HTTPD port, PHP, and everything. So I'm just telling them, see, I'm writing the code. It is building me a infrastructure. So this is a typical EC2 infrastructure which we are building, and inside that again we are building all other things which are required for our application. So we are just assuming that we are going to create one public application using all these services. So next, as you can see, the CloudFormation template is so much flexible that you can create a file inside it, and you can mention what kind of HTML content you want inside it. So CloudFormation template is flexible enough to provide all these details. So this is a simple application. Here again, you can provide the S3 link where you can store your HTML page and provide all the JS and everything, and put the link here so that it will take all those things from the S3. So here I am just using a sample code where it is going to create a PHP sample web application. Okay, so now again, and after that I'm setting up my DB, and then we are going to give them these configurations mainly used to provide the MySQL group access to our web application. And then as you can see, this autoloader configuration, this is going to help us initiate all this process. So let's scroll down and understand the services. Here MySQL is there, HTTPD is there, and our CloudFormation is there. So now next is we are configuring. So all these things, as you can see, it all comes under resources. So until this bracket is over, we have all these services available which we are creating. So till here, we are creating all these services. All these services combined together will create your web application. As I mentioned, a LAN, a Linux with an Apache server, with a MySQL DB, and a PHP frontend. So I am using an example of PHP here. Okay. So let me just scroll down. We have a security group, which is a typical security group for any instance. So here we are going to say what kind of access you have. You have a AT port, you have a SSH port. So these two ports, usually HTTP port and SSH port, are generally given to any instance. One for making a page public, another to SSH, and to any other installations required. And then we have the output. So output is something this is going to give as an output inside our CloudFormation template. So you will be able to see the details of the web server which is going to be created. Okay, so let's go and upload this. Okay, I think we are past the time. The time is still running. So let's go to CloudFormation and quickly deploy this. I hope everybody is able to follow now till here. Okay, So if you guys have any doubts till now, you can answer, you can ask here. I can just check and answer you. So here, as you can see, I came inside the CloudFormation. So let me go to the CloudFormation again. So this is a AWS CloudFormation page. I am clicking on Create Stack. So here I am selecting a ready-made template. Basically, I am saying my template is ready, and I am going to use that template to provision a LAMP server. Okay, so the URL which you copied before, copy that and put it here and click on next. Okay, so once you are here, you can give a name. I'm just giving the MySQL. You can follow the steps provided here. So I think the steps are provided in detail. As you can see, you have to go inside this, you have to copy this folder, copy this URL and click on create, and then you have to provide the name. So stack name, they are saying my first CloudFormation stack. So let me give the same name. Then we have a DB name, and then we are providing the password. So you can provide any password or anything like that, but you have to just remember that. So it's just better to follow the instructions provided here. Otherwise, you can provide whatever password you want and whatever the name you want, but you have to make a note of it somewhere to access those things. Okay, so let me just follow these things and create all these things. So we are entering the DB name, everything as mentioned in our template. So let me open the template. So what was our instance? We are saying we are going to use by default T2 micro. So whatever I defined in the template, that's what is coming here. It's not by default provided by AWS. We are saying that we want to use T2 micro. That's why it is coming as T2 micro. And if I had mentioned something like comma T3 something medium, then you would have got two options here. Right now there is only one option, and this is the key which we are using. So let me click on next. So let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to use I'm just going to tag it. Okay, so now let me click on next, and here you can see all the configurations which you had. You can ignore this message. It's not so basically for this lab we have given only minimum access which is required. So if you are getting this kind of error in this page, you can ignore it. It is just asking for IAM roles. So if any IAM roles are required for this lab, then we would have included that. So let me click on create stack. So everybody can click on create stack and click on this refresh button here. So as you can see, when you click on refresh button, it started creating all the things which is required. As you can see, this started with the stack, and then it is created the web security group. So let me see, what is my web security group? So this is the web security group which I am going to create with these ports. It has been created, then it created a web server instance. And you can just keep on clicking on refresh until this gets completed. Okay, so let me, I think it will take 1 to 5 minutes usually. So meanwhile, let it complete. You guys can ask me if you have any questions till here. So are you guys able to click on create stack, and is it running properly? Okay. So, okay, let me check in Q&A. Yes. IAM error. So somebody is asking IAM error. That's okay. You can ignore that IAM role error. You don't have to worry about that IAM role error. You can just click on create the stack. All right. Some people are mentioning here that they did not get the lab access. Don't worry about it. If you have not got the access now, everybody who attended this webinar will get the access by the end of this webinar, and they can try on their own after the webinar. So if you have not got the access, don't worry about it. You will get the access after the completion of webinar. So whoever has filled the form, they would have got the access, and the later stages, once the access is given, once the lab is started. So if you have entered later, you will get the access at the end of the webinar. Okay, so I don't see any other questions now. So Krishna Mummadi, you don't have to worry about fail to retrieve IAM roles as I mentioned. Just ignore and continue, click on next. Okay, fine. So now that you can see the create complete is done. So I'm just going to go to the resources and see what all things are created. So we created one instance, that is a web server instance which we created, right? So we created the EC2 instance inside which all these things are available. And then we created a security group. These two are the required services which we created. And it has a port open, HTTP port open. And we have in the script, in the CloudFormation template, installed Apache server and a DB and a PHP. And also we included one HTML page, this index.php. Okay, so this index.php is available publicly. So how do we see that? You just go to the outputs. Why? So in the outputs, I have provided the EU website URL. So that website URL will come here. And if I just click on this and open in a new page, you can see the welcome page. So this is what we have provided, right? So if I just copy this and paste it here. So here you can see this is what I have provided in the HTML page. So that is the HTML page got created. So there is you can update these things and design these pages based on your needs. So this is a typical infrastructure as a code where I am developing the complete application and deploying everything inside the CloudFormation template. And I am just I just created a stack and everything got provisioned automatically. So here there is no involvement of server team, there is no involvement of anyone. Only DevOps, the developer who was able to create the CloudFormation template and able to include his code inside the template was able to create the CloudFormation sample. Okay, so I hope everybody got this page. So if is everybody able to see this page? Yes, cool. Cool. Okay, so this is one of the things which I wanted to share with you to understand what exactly the infrastructure code looks like. So now that we have understood how the infrastructure as a code looks like, let's try to okay, let me close this and let me just go to EC2 and see. So now we have provisioned the EC2, right? I'm just going to go to EC2 instance here. And here I'm going to see EC2 being created. I did not come to this page, right? Automatically, it should have provisioned the EC2 instance. So if I just click on the EC running instances here, I should be able to see one instance here. So you can see this is the name which I gave to my instance. And you can see it's a T2 micro. And as you remember, we did not come to the EC2 page and create it. We provisioned it through CloudFormation. Right, so this is the infrastructure. We created an infrastructure using the code. So let me just click on validate here. So you guys can go and click on the validate and you can see it is a success. So basically all the tasks related to this lab you have completed and it's uploaded things and created a CloudFormation stack and all those things, whatever you have done, it is listed here. And now we are saying it is perfectly fine and you have successfully learned how to create the infrastructure as a code. This is a very simple code which I have shown you. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, let me end this lab. If you have completed, you can end this lab. And if you guys are okay, I think I can see that it is already 1 hour. So if you guys want, we can go through another lab. You guys can tell me if you are interested in going through another lab. We will go through one more lab. Where it is going to show in depth how we are going to create a VPC. Okay, so here we are going to learn how we are going to create a VPC using a CloudFormation template. So here we are going to discuss in detail each and every component which is required. Okay, so we are going to understand each and every component here. And then so let it complete. So once you click on end lab, it will take some 20-30 seconds and scripts will be running. So when this is done, so you can just close this and come to this course and click on how to create a virtual private cloud with AWS CloudFormation. Okay, so let me, so since the other lab was running, it is showing something like that because you can only run one lab at a time. So now using this one, we are going to learn how do we provision block by block each and every component with respect to CloudFormation. Okay, so let me go through this and understand. So here we are saying we are going to log into management console. We are going to deploy a CloudFormation template that creates a Maison VPC and its components. Okay, so let's just create it. Okay, so here it is mentioned as 55 minutes. It's not going to take that much. We have given enough time for users to go through and understand each and every part. I'll go through it and try explain you how the template works. Once you understand the template, you will be able to run these labs on your own. Okay, so since you have the access to these labs, you can run it. It will be available for a week. You can run anytime and practice it. Okay, so provided I think you have 50 points, so you'll be able to do 5 attempts in all those 4 labs. So let me just log in here. Okay, I'm just logging in. Let me just quickly see the chat. Okay, so I hope everybody is okay with the next previous lab. I'm moving on to the next lab, right? So I just did the same thing again, and I clicked on this new lab, and I am going to I have started this new lab called how to create a VPC using CloudFormation. So now I'm going to click on this S3. Again, we are going to the S3, and here you will be able to see 2 templates. So here there are 2 templates. Let's click on first one. So just like the previous one, you can copy this URL and download this file to your local machine. So I'm just going to open the one which I already downloaded. So here, so you can see that other things are less description and other things. Here it is more focused on the resources. So we are going to understand what all resources we are going to create here. So we are building each and every component, the cloud infrastructure, completely we are building component by component. So here we are building a VPC first, and then we are creating an internet gateway, and then we are attaching that internet gateway with the VPC, and then we are creating a public subnet, and then we are creating a private subnet, and a root table, public root table, there's a private root table, and then we are going to get the outputs, and we are saying which availability zone it has to use. So let's understand this template. Okay, so here we are providing something called a VPC. This is a typical JSON where we are providing VPC, and we are saying CIDR block as 10.0.0.0/16. So what is a CIDR block? I think most of you might already know it. If you're not, you can just go to CIDR.xyz, and you can just enter whatever is provided here. So here I'm saying, where is that? Okay. Okay, so template. So here 10.0.0.0/16, right? So I'm just going to give 10.0.0.0/16. So as you can see, the CIDR block is basically, it will provide how many private IPs are possible within this range. So VPC is a ecosystem where inside which you are going to create your EC2 instances, your databases, and every other component. Here it's like a wrapper inside which you can create all other components. So here inside this, how many components are possible? That is 65,536. So actual number would be slightly less than this because some of them will be restricted, and some of them will be already allocated. So these are the number of private IP addresses which you can use. So now that we are clear with that, then we are giving the internet gateway. Internet gateway is something through which your VPC can access, the components inside the VPCs can access the internet. So after that, we are going to attach that internet gateway. Then there's a public subnet. So public subnet is something inside which whatever the instances we are creating, they will be able to access the internet, and vice versa. You can download something from the internet. Then the private subnet, typically the private subnets are used in case of the databases where you want to keep data private and use it through a public segment. Usually we create something like a NAT gateway or a NAT instance. So nowadays NAT instance is not used, so we are going to use a NAT gateway. So next we have a public root table. So root table, if you are from the networking background, you guys will be familiar with these things. What is a subnet and a root table? Root table is something where we are going to map a subnet and what exactly the roots it has. What kind of root is inside the subnet if something is created, what kind of root it has. Okay, then there is a private subnet, and then we have the outputs. Okay, let's go and upload this. Okay, so I have this. I'm just going to copy this and put it here in my notepad just for the reference. Okay, so now I'm going to CloudFormation. Okay, so let it load. Okay, I'm just going to create just like the previous lab. I'm just going to paste it here. Then I'm going to click on next. I'm just going to see what is the name they have given. Okay, so I'm just going to give, you can give any name. There is no reason. I'm just following the lab which is given here. And then I'm going to give a name, myCF. As I mentioned before, the same error you got here. You don't have to worry, fail to retrieve IAM roles. Just click on next. So this is used in case of IAM roles are needed for some specific service. So let's say you want to access, let's say a Lambda or some other service through CloudFormation, then these kind of roles will be used. So as of now, for this not needed. So everything is fine. I'm just going to click on create stack. Okay, so like one thing which I missed in the beginning is make sure you are in Northern Virginia region. Usually when you click on open console, it should open in Northern Virginia region because that is the only region which we have given you access to. So if you are in different region, it may not work. So make sure you come back to the Northern Virginia region and do these things. Okay, so let me click on refresh now. So as you can see, it started creating all the components mentioned in the JSON, right? So I'm just clicking on refresh. So it started creating all these things, and it is going to provision each and everything. So basically each and everything inside this template is an infrastructure. VPC is an infrastructure, an internet gateway is an infrastructure. All these things you are putting it as a code. You are saying, okay, you create one VPC, you create one internet gateway, and you attach them, you put a public subnet, you put a private subnet, and how they have to be configured. All these things are done through a code. This gives a more control on what you are doing, and there will be less chance of mistakes. Okay, so now we can see everything is created. Let me click on create resources and see what all things got created. We have a VPC that got created, we have public subnet, we have private subnet, and we have an internet gateway and everything. Let's go to VPC page. I'm going to open this VPC page in a new page and see what all things got created. Okay, so you can see there are many other previous VPCs which are available from the previous labs. You don't have to worry. The one you have to think about is the one which you created right now. That is a lab VPC which you created. So let's see what is the VPC which got created here. It ends with E0C. So I'm going to see E0C. This is my VPC which got created here, right? So now this is the VPC which got created. If I go to the internet gateway, so there is a one new internet gateway, lab internet gateway which got created. So it's a 091. You can go and see what is the internet gateway. It's a 091. So that is the internet gateway which got created. And here you can see this is associated with this VPC. So this is what is defined inside the CloudFormation as attachment, right? Attached gateway. So other things like subnets, private subnet, public subnet, all these things are created. And if you go to the root table, there will be a public root table, then there will be a private root table. So if you just click on the public root table, the roots are defined here. You can see the internet gateway is attached to the public root table. So whatever the instance which you are going to create in the future, that will have the internet access. So if you go to the private root table, it will just have the subnet association, but it will not have the roots associated with the internet gateway. So if I just go to the subnet association, here you can see a private subnet is attached to it. And in the public subnet, if you go, a public subnet is attached to it. All those things, all these configurations are already done as part of the template. So as you can see, the entire infrastructure is being built using the code itself. So you are not manually doing anything here. CloudFormation template itself is taking care of all these things. When you're creating a stack, each and everything is taking care of itself. So yeah, so let me come and see. So now that we have created this, so let's go and try to update this. Okay, this is the last part which we are going to do as a part of this labs webinar. So what we are going to do is we are going to the S3 again. So let me go to the S3. So I hope you guys are able to follow. Okay, some people are asking, okay, I don't see up here. Able to see S3 bucket using the lab access. Okay, let's see one by one. So there is another template here. So you guys can copy this URL and put it in a notepad somewhere. Okay, so now let's try to, I have already downloaded. If you want, you guys can download. So we are going to compare them and see what all the extra things are there. Okay, so wait. So let me just remove this. Let me compare them and show you what is the difference between these two. Okay, so let me work text compare. Right, so I'm just going to copy this to right side and copy the previous one. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to update the infrastructure which we created. Okay, so this is the one which we created. The left side is the one which we created, and the right side one is the new one which we are going to create. So what is the new things in the right side? The new template, the template number 2. So that is, we have another public subnet. So you can see we can create multiple number of subnets, multiple number of private and public subnets inside the VPC, and we can give them a different CIDR blocks so that they will be isolated from each other. And then we are giving the configuration. So again, we are creating another subnet association, and then we are going to do private subnet association. So this is and also we are including another availability zone. So these are the extra things we are adding as a part of this template 2. Okay, so let me just go to my stack. Let me just go to my CloudFormation, and you guys can click on update here, and you can click on run current replace current template. So what we are doing is we are replacing the current template with this template. Just go to the steps if you are having any confusion and see what we are doing here. So we are creating a VPC, and then, so where is it? Click on services, stack. You can see replace the current template. So that's what I am doing here. So I am replacing the current template with a new template. So what is my new template URL? This is my new, you guys will have your own template from your S3 bucket. I'm just clicking on next, and you don't have to worry about the parameters. You don't have to worry about IAM roles. Just click on next. And then once you review everything, just click on update stack. So now what it is doing is it is having all the infrastructure which is built in. Now, based on our own requirement which came in the future, we are updating the infrastructure without worrying too much about the existing infrastructure, how it is going to affect it, whether we are going to delete and provision it again. All those things we don't have to worry. The code itself is taking care of these things. And here, as I showed, the difference is we are creating a public subnet number 2, private subnet number 2, and we are associating that with the root table. So let's see. Okay, I'm just refreshing. So as you can see, the large number of resources getting created here. Okay, let's click on event. So you can see update is complete. What we did is we updated our infrastructure. So what are the extra things we created by updating? Let's see. So by updating, we have created a new public subnet, we have created a new private subnet, and we have done the association. So let's just go and confirm this. So I'm just going to refresh this and click on subnets. in the VPC page. I am in the VPC page now, as you can see. So here you can see the private subnet 2 is there, private subnet, public subnet 2 is there. So these two are the new things which we have created inside the existing lab VPC itself. Okay, so now I'm going to a root table, and here I can see that if I go into the public root table, and if I, so the roots remains the same, but if you go to the subnet association, you will be able to see two subnets here, the public subnet 1 and the public subnet 2. So with a different CIDR blocks. So the CIDR block is something which defines each and every subnet separately from each other. So using this only, we are going to say, okay, this is a separate subnet, and whatever resources which you are going to create inside that, that will be separated from each other. So inside the private subnet, if you go to the subnet association, you will be able to see there are two subnets. So as you can see, creating a subnet, creating a VPC, creating these root tables, creating these internet gateways, all this is done through the CloudFormation template itself, and we are able to update it on our, whenever it is needed, you are able to update it. So everything is taken care by the code itself. The CloudFormation code itself is taking care of everything. So now we can say that infrastructure as a code works with the cloud infrastructure to create all the things which are needed for your own application. So all the things, meaning you want a private VPC, you want to go with the public cloud, you want to go with the private cloud, you want to go with the hybrid cloud, anything you want, you can configure inside the CloudFormation and you can provision them. Okay, so I hope everybody is able to follow this. So let me just go here and click on validate. So if you guys have completed all these things, you can just click on validate. So here you can see I got the success because I think I have followed all the steps properly, and I'm able to create the VPC and I am able to update it, right? So this is a part of the lab, and we are able to successfully use the infrastructure as a code. So let me know if you are able to complete it. Okay, what about the AZ in the updation CloudFormation template that is highlighted in the JSON? Yes. So let me just show you. So previously, the only one availability zone was there. Now we have multiple availability zones which are available. So that can be seen here, AZ1 and AZ2, right? That is a good question which was asked this. Hima Bindu, right? So previously there was only one availability zone, and we have provided by updating two availability zones. So what is availability zone? This again, availability zones, and regions are something which are defined in the cloud infrastructure, where we are saying which particular region that data center belongs to. Where do you want to keep your VPC? You want to keep it in a Mumbai region, you want to keep it in a US East region, and each and every region will have multiple availability zones. These are all designed based on mainly thinking in mind whether we'll be able to do a disaster recovery. The main thing for the availability zone is the disaster recovery, where in case one availability goes down, your infrastructure should be available. So availability zones come into picture. Let's say you have deployed in AWS, and the AWS data center itself got fire and the entire data center is destroyed. Still, your server should not, your data, your server, everything should not get destroyed. That is where these availability zones will come into picture. Those will be placed apart, and you will be able to save all your infrastructure. So yeah, so that's about infrastructure as a code. So let me go. Yeah, so I have explained you about the CloudFormation, and I have taken all these two labs. Okay, so now I have the same question again to you guys. What do you think now? Now that you have used CloudFormation, what do you think CloudFormation is? Is it an infrastructure as a code? Is it a platform as a code? Is it a software as a code? So you now that you have used it, you should have some understanding of what it is. Yes, some people are answering. So I see different answers from people. Some people are saying infrastructure as a code. Some people are saying platform, infrastructure as a code, infrastructure as a service, or a platform as a service. So many people are saying infrastructure as a service. Okay. So yeah, software as a service. So I can see many answers. So here, okay, so let me try to explain how do we define this CloudFormation. So here, infrastructure is provided by AWS, right? So AWS is an infrastructure, and using CloudFormation, we are accessing the AWS services, right? And IaaS means infrastructure as a service. That infrastructure as a service, we are writing with a CloudFormation, which is also a service of the cloud infrastructure itself. So we can say it as a software as a service as well as infrastructure as a service. You can also call it as a platform as a service. So main thing here is that it creates the infrastructure behind using a software created by AWS for end users use. So it is a IaaS, it is a PaaS, and it is SaaS, depending on the perspective of the user who is using it, right? So it depends on the user who is using it. It becomes a different thing. All right. So okay. So let me see what we have next. Okay. So yeah. So any doubts till now? You guys can tell me if you have any doubts or anything like that. So that I can resolve. So I think it is already 1.5 hours. Hope I'm not taking too much of your time. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can ask me. So let me check the Q&A. So Sridevi Ganesh has asked, why did we provide DB details? Can you please explain? So what we are trying to do is inside the part of the lab is to show that we can install a DB inside the EC2 instance also. Inside the CloudFormation, we can install these services inside the instance. I am trying to show that CloudFormation can be used to do this also. Okay, so let me see the next question. Stack shows, okay, DB password error, parameter DB. So those who have got errors with the DB password or parameter, there might be a possibility that you might have missed 1 or 2 steps. You guys can do it again and see like where you have missed, what you have missed. You will be able to complete it. If not, you can send a mail to our support team. They will be able to help you. Okay, fine. So I think let me move on to this available labs. We have a large number of hands-on labs available for all these certifications, and it is a growing list. Every month we add around 10 to 15 labs. We focus on the labs based on our user feedbacks and also whatever is needed with respect to the trends and what are the new things available from AWS. So as you can see, we have large number of labs. As of now, we think I think we have around 200 plus labs which you can use to learn the skills. So the new and upcoming labs we have recently created the big data analytics labs, the security labs, and the networking labs. And these are also available for the users, and these can be used. So one of the special mention I want to mention is the exam recommended labs, which is available for the SysOps exam. So these are nowadays, as you know, the certification exam itself has the labs. So you guys can use these labs to understand what kind of labs will be coming in the certification itself. Okay, Q&A time. I think I have asked all the questions in between whenever it is needed. I think I have answered everyone's question, hopefully. So if not, I will be answering them through my support team. My support team will be answering, or if you have any other questions, you can send us to our support team. They'll be able to answer. So Hitesh is asking how to use the CloudFormation designer interface. So this is something which you can do it. I think we have another lab which is showing how to use the designer. So that lab's name is updating CloudFormation. So each and every lab we design based on making sure that people understand. In single lab itself, we can't cover everything. So we divide into different labs. There are labs available which will provide you details on how to use the designer, right? So that's what the question was. So let me see what else. Okay, Fine then. So now let's move on to quiz time. So here, so I'll be giving mic back to Sneha. So Sneha.
Thank you, Pavan. Yes. Can you please switch on to the next slide?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So today also we have 5 questions, and we will be announcing 5 winners for that. For those 5 winners, we will be giving one free Whizlabs course or practice test of their choice. One thing is that other than that, you all will be getting the access for the labs, right? Some of you have already received it, and some of you will receive it after this webinar. You will find another lab in there, and we will be giving special prizes to those who share their validation. Those details will be shared with you at a later point of time. For these 5 questions, you will be getting one free course or practice test, and then we have these 2 special coupon codes for this webinar. You can see those in your screen, and we will be emailing you these codes separately as well. So yes, over to you, Pavan. You can start with the quiz, and let's see how everyone participates.
Okay, cool. So as Neha said, we will be deciding these winners based on the next 5 questions which I'm going to ask here. You guys can answer. So Sneha, they can answer in the chat, or they have to send a mail?
Please answer in the Q&A section. And while you answer your questions, use this format. Like for first question, if the answer is option A, type it as 1A, 2B, 3, like that. The format should be in that way. And use the Q&A section, not the chat box.
Okay. So chat box is something which we should not use for the quiz. As Neha said, we will use the Q&A section. So here you can answer. Okay, so let me go to the first question. AWS Amazon CloudFormation is dash. So what is Amazon CloudFormation? Is it an application service? Is it a networking service? Is it a deployment and management service? Or is it a content delivery service? What is a CloudFormation? So please answer in the Q&A as Sneha mentioned. So I'll be giving another 30 seconds to you. So I see many people are answering. Okay, so if everybody has answered, let me move on to the next question. So question number 2. A user is planning to use CloudFormation for his automatic deployment requirements. Which of the below mentioned components are required as a part of the template? So here, the key thing here you have to understand is which is a required part of this parameters. So one is A is parameters, 2 is B is outputs, C is template version, D is resources. In all these 4, which one is a must and which one is that's the one you have to eliminate the ones which are not required. Okay, so I think many people are answering. Okay, so shall we move to the next question? Okay, so let's move to the next question then. Can we create a multiple resources of same type at the same time using the AWS CloudFormation? So here, understand the question clearly. Can we create a multiple resources of same type at the same time using the CloudFormation? So is it yes, A, yes, or B, no? Okay, I see people are answering now. Okay, so if everybody answered, let me move on to the question number 4 now. Okay. So question number 4, you have written a CloudFormation template that creates one elastic load balancer fronting two EC2 instances. Which section of the template should you edit so that the DNS of a load balancer is returned upon the creation of stack? So here the question says, which section of the template you should edit so that the DNS of the load balancer, the DNS name of the load balancer, is returned upon the creation. So which part of the template which you need to edit? A is resources, B is parameters, C is outputs, and D is mappings. All right, so I see a large number of people are answering it. Cool. So I think I have given enough time for this question. So let's now go to the final question. So final question is, which one of the following is a kind of a technique that allows sharing of a single physical instance of an application or a resources among the multiple organizations and customers? So what is the kind of technique? What technique are we talking about here? So A is virtualization, B is service-oriented architecture, C is grid computing, and D is utility computing. So you have the question on the screen. If you are not understood, you can go through the question again. Okay, I think everybody has answered now. Okay, still people are answering. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. So I think all the 5 questions are answered. So let me see. So Navya, Sneha, back to you.
Thank you so much, Pavan. I think it was a great quiz. So many people participated. About the results, as people are asking in the chat box, we will be announcing the results on our social media channels by today evening. So make sure you follow us on all the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whichever platform you are comfortable with. And I think people are also asking for the correct answers, Pavan. Do you mind sharing those?
I think we can share them along with the answers, or okay, let me share them right.
You can tell them now. I think they
are fine. Okay, so so Amazon. So question number 1, Amazon CloudFormation answer is C, a deployment and management service. So it is a deployment and management service. So question number 2. So what is the required parameter? So as I mentioned in my lab, so resources, option D, resources is a required parameter. So question number 3, can we create a multiple resources of same type and at the same time using the AWS CloudFormation? So as we discussed in one of our templates, we created multiple subnets. It's the same type of subnets, private subnet or public subnet. So we are able to create them at the same time. So answer is yes. So question number 4, you have written a CloudFormation template and you created a load balancer, and you want to know what is the DNS name of that load balancer. So where do we show? So it is the end result. What do you want from the CloudFormation? What is the output? So outputs are available in the output option C, outputs parameter. So outputs section of the CloudFormation. So here you will be able to see the DNS name of the load balancer. So next is just the following is a kind of a technique. So here we are talking about the technique that allows sharing of single physical instance. The answer is virtualization. So option A, virtualization is the answer for this one. So yeah, that's the answer for all these 5 questions. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so those who could not follow the webinar, follow the instructions side by side, you will have access to the YouTube recording. You can go to our YouTube channel and you will find the live recording there. So if you are not able to follow the steps during the webinar, you can follow that recording and complete all the steps. Also, we have a special lab for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let me go to the lab, the next lab which we have to show. Before that, if anybody has not copied these coupon codes, you can copy. Even if you are not a top five quiz answer, top five of the winners, you will be able to still get the 60% and 25%. So please note down this coupon code. So I'm just showing it again in case you missed it previously. So these are the codes. WL Web CF 60 for 60% off on courses and practice test, and for the subscription it's WLWE PCF 2. Okay, so I hope everybody has copied this. So let's move on to the final section. So here, as I told before, we have provided around 5 labs. So let me go here. So 4 labs I have given here. So I have taken lab number 1 and lab number 2. And there are 2 more labs available. So these we have kept it for free for you guys to practice. So there are 2 labs available here, EC2 provisioning and CloudFormation, and then there is another lab for deploying Lambda functions using the CloudFormation. So here we have some prizes for sending the validation report. So how do we send the validation report? So if you just click on the My Dashboard once you complete the lab. So here you will be able to generate the PDF. So this is a PDF. Let's say, for example, you want to see the PDF of this. So I'm just going to search. And it's going to give me the date on which I have tried. So it's going to show me all the dates. So you can just select the today's date. So 18. So I have completed it. So if you just click on the print, you will be able to generate the PDF. And this PDF will have the details of your mail ID and the username, which is important for us to provide the further prizes. So here you can see the Pavan, I'm able to complete this lab. So like that, you have to complete this lab, deploying Lambda functions using the CloudFormation. This is another lab, which is given to you for free. Here, as a part of the webinar, you guys can complete and send this PDF to our support team. So Sneha, which mail they have to send it to? Hello?
Sorry, I was on mute. So yes, the participants can send their validation report to this email ID that I'm sharing in the chat box. 100days@whizlabs.com. So share your validation report there, and everyone who shares their report, we will have some additional discounts for those people and some more surprises. So make sure you all have the access. Some of you who don't have it, you will receive it within 1 or 2 hours. So you have the access, make sure you use it, and it will be valid till 23rd of July. These particular 4 labs will be valid till 23rd of July. So by then you can access it, and make sure you send your validation report to this email ID that I have shared in the chat box.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the end of the webinar. I hope you guys are able to understand the CloudFormation and infrastructure as a code. You're able to understand the what exactly are PaaS, SAS, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, the difference between them, and understand how the CloudFormation template works, how to update these things. Hope you're able to understand a lot of things, and yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so before we end this, we'll have a quick picture with all of you. So whoever wants to be a part of the frame, you can raise your hand and we will make you do panelists. So you will be able to switch on your cameras.
Yeah, I'm going to stop the sharing. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Meanwhile, you all can also fill this feedback form. We would love to know how you like this webinar and if we can improve any further when it comes to your webinar experience. Hello, Lokesh. Hello, Krishna. Hi, Shaliza.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We would love to know how was your experience with the labs since some of you got the access. Would you like to tell, Shaliza?
I haven't tried yet because I really concentrate on the instructor's lecture, but I will try after this.
Okay. How about you, Lokesh?
Yeah, it was a good experience. Yeah, awesome. And labs were also nice. So I just completed one lab, and the report, it is showing as the sad, it was showing there is no validation record found, it says. I don't know, is it normal or something? Yeah, apart from that.
Would you like to answer that?
Sorry, can you ask again? Can you please?
Yeah, some PDF report was there, Whizlabs labs report. It was showing as introduction to CloudFormation attempted, number of attempts 1, and no validation record found.
So maybe you have not clicked on validation, or you may not have ended the lab. You have to end the lab to see the.
I clicked on that, and last 30 seconds or 1 minute was remaining, something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. It should not be. Even if you don't end, automatically it will end after the duration, and you'll be able to see the report.
Actually, when I'm closing this lab project, it is showing that S3 bucket is not created or not updated or something like this, and it is showing error, validation failed.
Okay, so you can send the screenshots of what is the error to the mail ID which Sneha has mentioned. Maybe we can get in one-on-one with you to see what is the issue you have faced. Maybe
actually there is some IAM role issue, like S3 bucket is not granted a permission of IAM role. So I think that's the error. Without it, the validation is not able to complete. It is showing validation failed in the last.
Okay, so let me check on that. Okay, you can send me the screenshot to the mail ID. Maybe because everyone will get the same template when they are doing the same similar isolated environment will be created for everyone. So
yes,
maybe something might be an issue, or something, maybe a step might have been missed, or maybe something might have not been created while creating the CloudFormation. We will check and update you. Okay, you can send us the screenshots.
Pavan, I was able to view I was able to browse through the page. Welcome to AWS CloudFormation PHP sample.
Correct. Yes, excellent, man. Yeah.
So it was working fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so those of you who have been added as panelists and have not switched on your cameras yet, please do so. We will have a quick picture with all of you. More like, I mean, it is a screenshot, but okay.
I think page 2 is there, right? Page 1 and page 2 it's showing.
Okay. Hope you all are ready. Those who have not switched on their videos yet, hope you are doing it now. Okay, ready?
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Thank you so much, everyone. See you in our next webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I can give the feedback.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, please. Yes, Shaliza wanted to.
I cannot give the feedback.
Yes, yes.
Because we're panelists, we can't give the feedback anymore.
Okay, for the poll you want.
Okay, from the poll, you can click on the polling. Bottom, you can click on the polling. I think it will be for you.
I cannot select.
Oh, probably since you are a panelist, maybe we have to switch you back to normal.
Yeah, I need to switch us back to non-panelists for us to be able to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I would
Have a
like
good
to
day.
add
Thank you.
something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Add something.
I'll share the feedback form separately with you, Shelza.
Hi, Pavan.
Yeah, hi.
The content is very good, but the thing is you are little fast and
Okay.
we can make it little slower next time.
Sure. I think in the middle, I think in the starting when I was fast, I think I asked you guys. I think in my mind, I thought, okay, I reduced my speed. Okay, I take it as a feedback. Surely I'll try to.
For the experienced people, they can get on and they can travel with you alongside. But for us like beginners, it will be little fast to catch up.
I understand. I completely
But the
understand.
content is good. That I liked it.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'll surely take this as a constructive feedback, and I'll try to reduce the speed next time.
Hello, one thing I can add here, like we are discussing the topics and you are telling that today's CloudFormation session, and it went very well. The content was very good. And yes, and if we had some plan, like what we will plan after 1 week or something, if there's some format like this week we are doing CloudFormation, next week we will do some Route 53 stuff or something, like then it will be good. We will prepare before the webinar something. This will be good according for our knowledge also. And if you will teach us that, then it will be more affordable and good for us, for our knowledge and for implementing the stuff like this.
Yeah, I completely understand. So what we are doing is we are running the 100 days cloud 100 days of cloud. So every week we will have a webinar. So we will try to send those details as quickly as possible. Let's say if it is on the Saturday, we'll try to send it by Monday or Tuesday so that you guys will have enough time to prepare. So we will try to do that.
Yes, thank you.
I think in this we should know something like basic, like EC2, VPC, like basic services. We should know about it, like at least.
Yes.
And conceptually, if a little bit, conceptually. Yeah.
We can prepare and then come here in the quiz part and your session. Then it will be quite good for us.
Yeah.
Then it will not look fast also.
Even when we are doing some fundamental certifications of cloud, actually we should create an account and log into any public cloud provider. And then we should actually create a EC2 instance. We should explore, I think, object storage. These things are very, 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 very necessary. I think with doing any EC2 instance, network part will be covered, IP. How will you access that server or a virtual server? So
actually, in 1.5 hours, also Pavan can't tell all these things.
Of course not. So we have to come prepared. And if anybody is working in infrastructure, then these things are very much necessary. Sorry, I'm a bit direct on that. But if we are learning CloudFormation, of course we cannot blame Pavan in that. But he will go into specifically CloudFormation, and that was a good thing. And again, it will revise the thing how we approach doing through a GUI. And this is something like understanding a code, like what is a template. So this is the future. Same thing is in Terraform, right? So we have to, if we don't pick up this, how will we reach the next level? So maybe this is just my experience and my thoughts, but we need to be a bit fast. That's it.
Yeah. So I try to do. Please, Rachit, you are telling.
And if we will come prepared, then Pavan will also not look fast, because right now someone is saying that Pavan is fast. But if we prepare ourselves between certain days of this, then it will be quite good, and we will go hand in hand with Pavan also.
Yeah, true.
Interesting. Yes.
True.
I try to give as much information as possible. At the same time, make sure that the time is not too huge. Like 2 hours means it's already a big time. People, what happens is after 1.5 hours, like people say, like if it is a too big one, people may not be able to sit for that much of time. So we try to give as much of information as possible in the given time frame. So I think today we are already exceeded the time limit which was given to me. So, but yeah, we try to give as much information. I take it as a feedback, and we will try to better prepare for the next time.
And we need to give some time to these things to understand. Actually, it's like in one technology, we work whole career. Maybe anybody has worked 3 years, 6 years, 10 years. Then they have some mastery at intermediate or expert level or whatever you call it. So then if you are picking up cloud these days, then we need to repeat that stuff. Maybe if we repeat faster with Pavan one time, then again we go back and do second time, third time, fourth time, it goes in head little bit. Okay, these are things like this. So when we start working on that, actually some assignments in office or anywhere in companies or customer environment, then it makes more sense gradually. So it will take some time.
Okay. And also for this reason, we have given the access to all the 4 labs, which I have already done. So all the access is given to you guys for the next 1 week. So you guys can go and practice it slowly with the given access. So if you go to the same LMS, those 4 labs will still be available for you guys to practice anytime. So you will be able to access those labs and do the labs again. If required, you can just go through each and everything and do it. So it is available for you guys to do it again. So yeah, that's what I wanted to convey. Yeah. So any other feedbacks, questions you guys can tell me. So it will be very helpful for me for the next webinar as well.
Which is the next webinar you are going to plan to take it up?
So we have
Any plans?
asked Neha about it. So we have not yet planned. So I think next week we have another webinar, right, Sneha?
Yes,
So that is taken by another instructor. So another person, another expert is taking that webinar. So after that, we are going to plan again.
Awesome. Yeah, different SMEs.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thanks.
Pavan.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Taking so much time on the weekend as well. Yeah. Great stuff.
Actually, we are grateful for all of you to actually take out time on your weekends.
Yes.
Yeah, some really people, some would be learning, want to learn something, and they will take out some time.
Actually, yes, true that.
And this pandemic will help everyone to take out some time.
Correct.
Hopefully.
Correct.
Yes, this is midnight for me, 1:30 in Dallas. I
Oh.
put an alarm to attend this meeting.
That's awesome.
That really means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hema.
In spite of, we already tell this to the people that the recording will be available, but still you chose to attend the live webinar. It means something. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because I have used this Udemy and the Whizlabs practice test actually to clear my AWS solution architect certification last week. So I have very much, I liked it the way questions were in the realistic manner rather than, very simple. So I liked it. That's why whenever I got email notification for this webinar, I said I want to make it. So I put an alarm and I woke up and I'm attending.
That's amazing. Okay, see you all in the next webinar then.
Yeah. See you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.